Hi, my name is Pamela Edge, and I'm from Butterfly Courage. I'm here to talk to you about writing, and this writing is following a loss or tragedy. I lost my daughter in a car accident about 3 years ago, and when she passed away, I had a very hard time, and I'll be honest, I still do, and I focus very hard each and every day on breathing, trusting, breathing, talking to God, and I spend a lot of time writing. I had several people talk to me about, well, how do you write? What do you do? And what I did was organize all this information in a small book, and I put it in a small book because those of us who are living in the new normal following a loss or tragedy, we need things in small pieces of information so we can read it quickly, understand it, do it if we like it, and keep moving. And that's what I decided to do. I named the book Butterfly Courage because I had a dream after she passed away, and she flew to me on the back of a butterfly, and she was the most beautiful thing, and the butterfly was gorgeous, enormous, and she flew on the back of the butterfly and pulled the reins, and she sidled up to me and she said, "Heaven is wonderful." And she didn't tell me anything about how great it would be if I happened to be there with her, or how she wanted to come home to me. All she said was heaven was wonderful. And it was at that time when I woke up that I decided I needed to step forward and try to fly with Butterfly Courage. And I think a lot about how so many of us are little caterpillars all moving around the world, and some of us are all furry and beautiful, and some of us are spiky, some of us are slick. And then something happens and we go through a tragedy or loss, and we go into a cocoon. And it is only through a metamorphosis that we're able to break free and fly. And we fly with Butterfly Courage. And that's why I named the book Butterfly Courage, because it takes a lot of strength and it takes a lot of healing inside just to fly. And some days my wings do not flap very hard. In fact, they just kind of flap a little. And other days I flap and fly through the skies with the glory of God. And I try, and every day I live in the new normal. And I just have to remember that is what it's like living in the new normal. And I just breathe, I trust you, God, and I breathe again. And I talk about this in the book, Butterfly Courage. And I wrote the book like a conversation between people who have experienced loss or tragedy. When you look at the table of contents within this book, it gives you a variety of choices of things to write. Some as simple as a listicle, which you may not be familiar with that word, but a listicle is simply a list. Some people call it bullet points, but in writing we call it listicles. A listicle might be the top 5 ways to survive following loss of a dog or a pet. Top 10 ways to get spaghetti stains out of a child's shirt. Those are little tidbits that you could write about. Now, why would you want to write that? Well, you'd be surprised how many people cannot get spaghetti out of a shirt. So if you happen to write that, let me know and I'd like to read it. So listicles are really a neat thing to write. It might be top 10 ways to help your son learn how to do multiplication tables, and something that they can share with their kids. Listicles, it's simple. Flash fiction, it's just writing a story with very few words. There's even something smaller called microfiction, which is like, I think, 100 words. All I have in this book are simply ideas for you to use as a vehicle to write and to move forward living in the new normal. The new normal that we have based on the fact that we went through a loss or tragedy. But I want you to fly with Butterfly Courage. I I want you to breathe, trust and breathe. It is what I do to survive each and every day. I just remind myself to breathe. I write, I find a purpose, and I keep moving forward because that's what our family wants us to do. That's what we need to do. Helping others, it just is a way to step forward and fly with the beauty of the butterflies. In this book, I talk about something called highlighted memories. Highlighted memories are they're a lot of fun. I have multiple highlighted memories in here that even though this is a serious book, they're kind of funny. Highlighted memories focus on the fact, focus on memories that someone might not know. For example, I might write a little highlighted memory about my brother and how he was driving me crazy when I was young, and I might have colored on the back screen in blue crayon and blamed it on him, and write something about that. And just, it's silly, but it's kind of a pretty cool memory for me to write to him, say, hey, you remember the time? And then I slip him that memory. Might help him through the day. Or write about the time that my brother and I played horse outside, that's a basketball game, and how I would beat him. Of course, he was much younger. Now he's 6'5". I'm 5'8". He could whoop me any day of the week. But at one point, I was the champion. So in this book, a whole bunch of ideas for you to write about. Also in here, I have coloring pages. Okay, why coloring pages in a writing book? Well, what I discovered is when I'm thinking about writing, my fingers have to do something. Sometimes I jot down words, and other times I color. And coloring keeps me focused on one thing. And it really does help me. Now, I'm not a great colorer. In fact, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm about 1 3/4. I color in the lines, give me that. But everything else, not so much. But I have lots of coloring pages here, and throughout the book I have lots of pictures that you can just color in, just to take notes, just to help you think as you're going through the process. It's a thin book, but it has a lot of meat in it. And the meat in it is simply to help you live in the new normal, find purpose, and fly with butterfly courage. This is Pamela Edge from Butterfly Courage, and have a blessed day because you are so loved.